Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome into the Week 10 FL1 betting preview here on fingerlakes1.com. I am Paul Russo, joined, as always, by Kyle Evans and Jim Senacropi. Guys, happy Thursday. We're through the week, pretty much. And outside of football, we got some college basketball back, which is always nice.
Oh, it's the best. I love betting college basketball.
Yeah. Alrighty, and suppose we get any further, we thank today's sponsor of the show, Auburn Auto Group. Auburn Auto Group, when it comes to selection and service after the sale, Auburn Auto Group has been the premier destination for new and used car buyers for close to 40 years. Among the brands offered on the Route 5 location in Auburn include Chevrolet, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Honda, Toyota, and Subaru. Thanks to a wide range of makes and models, you're sure to find your new or used car at Auburn Auto Group. Auburn Auto Group. Jeez, I'm messing up today.
One-stop shop, though, all those manufacturers.
Yeah. Proud Chevrolet owner myself, so nothing like the bow tie brigade. All right, guys, let's jump on into it. Our Week 9 betting cards. And
first of all, college basketball's back. We're gonna look. I'll be happy to look at how we did last week.
Well, yeah. We'll come back to college basketball as our meat in the sandwich here as we do this. But Jim, racking up what I would call a commanding lead in the bank category as it stands right now.
You guys are gonna need to get a loan.
Yeah.
Didn't you hear?
Would
man, that Jonathan Taylor bet, Kyle, that was a lock.
Yeah.
Had 40 in the first half.
Yeah, you gotta love it, don't you? And how about old Josh Allen?
Yep.
Oh man, that does hurt. It does hurt.
Jim, you were looking like almost an outright winner on that Kansas State bet, by the way. Almost, but
yeah, but it's funny, that could have gone either way too. But Kansas State did pull it off like we hoped. The unders are good bets in the NFL now, and I did think that the Eagles would just spank the Cowboys, blow them away, and they didn't, but they did cover, and luckily Dak Prescott can't, win a game coming from behind.
That was an ugly ending there. Kyle, at least you got the Derrick Henry portion of things right. So it's good to see that, I don't know what we used to call him there for the couple of years, but that old bell cow that is Derrick Henry still good to go.
Yeah, I started last Thursday 1-0, and I was heading into Sunday feeling pretty good about both of the ones that didn't end up hitting, and sucks for Taylor. He just disappeared in the second half, and then, the Bills' offense just has been miserable. So Josh Allen lost me that bet, and what can you do? Just bounce back, hopefully.
Yeah, no, it's hard to believe Allen is, like we talked about during the Bills podcast, Gabe Davis didn't even have a catch, let alone a touchdown.
Yeah.
It's crazy what's going on in Buffalo, but. And then, Paul, you stuck with the college ranks.
Yeah. FAU ended up losing outright, which disappointment for the Owls there. But my Big 12, quote unquote, traditional over the newcomers held there. So West Virginia cleared by 10 plus 27 on that one. And SMU found themselves in a dogfight with Rice and only won by 2. So much for that.
That was surprising.
Yeah. So that is where we stand on the picks through Week 9. And Jim, like I said, you're commanding it at the moment, and you're the only one with multiple perfect weeks.
Well, let's go for 2 in a row because that's how when you're riding the hot hand, you want to keep it going. I believe in momentum. And I've got some good picks for this week.
I like mine as well. But before we get to that, we teed it up there a little bit. College basketball back a little bit here. I know me and you have go there, Jim, a little bit. Kyle, have you gotten kind of anywhere
no bets
there?
Yet on that, but
Nothing.
No, not yet. But maybe I'll get into it more. I just don't know much about other teams besides
Well,
Syracuse.
no, even I don't. Listen, college basketball is crazy. There's, 25 games a night, basically, and all these teams. There's more Division I teams now. So what do you know about Texas A&M Commerce, or Prairie View or Grand Canyon? There's just so many, but that's where it tends to be a lot of opportunity. And so the way I always do it is I lay a lot of bets in the first week of the season, low cost. I'll bet a 3-team parlay for $1. Just so I'm interested enough to follow and see how it comes out, look at the scoreboards every day, and then moving forward from that, I usually get a couple teams that I just ride with. A few years ago, I rode Drake. I won literally like 10 bets in a row with Drake. And then Iowa a couple years ago as well. They had a great team. Geez, I can't remember any of the kids' name. They had the big 7-footer in the middle.
Garza?
Yeah. They tended to cover and win. And so I'm looking for some of those teams now. But like last night I had a 3-teamer. Mississippi State -4. They covered. Texas A&M under. They covered. And then the last leg was Drake -15.5, and they won by 15.
Oh, sounds like me betting.
Don't worry, Kyle, because guess who also had Drake -15 last night?
Ooh,
Hello, it's me. So
most frustrating thing ever.
yeah, the half point that'll happen.
That's
I was
what's frustrating about college basketball, and the best part is ESPN Plus. $4.99 a month. I got ESPN Plus. Every one of these games is on now. I didn't flick over to watch the end of that Drake game, and if I did, I'm sure it probably was some crazy.
Well,
that's
well,
the thing
yeah.
with lines like of any college basketball game. If going to come down to the sometimes scrub time, it's frustrating, but it's fun because there's so many different teams, and like I said, I try to find a handful of teams that I'll go with until they don't work anymore.
Yeah, there are 332 Division I basketball teams this year, down from 333 last year. Quick little trivia time. Do we know who the one team is that is no longer Division I?
Oh, I know that a new team is Lemoyne,
That is correct.
which we can't bet on in New York
Correct.
State, but the team that is no longer, geez, I feel like I should know this one. I bet I'm gonna know it when you say it.
Kyle, any guess for you by
No
chance?
chance.
No chance. St. Francis.
Yeah,
They literally shuttered their whole entire athletic department.
Right, yeah.
So I ended up being one of the oldest actual college basketball institutions. No longer anymore. So
yeah. Well, it's tough to hang even when in Division I sports nowadays. It's tough.
yeah. So I was on the Drake end of things too last night. They were only up by 2 at one point in the second half. So the fact
Yeah, they got
fact
to
that
a
they got
slow
there.
start.
Yeah.
And that's not great when we got a team minus 15.5
Yeah.
and they get down like, I think they got down like 8-2 or something.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden they got but I did think they were going to, in the end, cover it. But, oh well.
Yeah.
Like I said, they didn't lose much because I'm not wagering a lot because I'm just feeling it out right now.
Yeah, I mean, what I do a lot is, and I know in terms of gambling, it's not a true gambling metric, but I always go to Ken Palm, start of every week, kind of see what teams are floating around the bottom, and it's a system that I know me and a couple friends follow, and we just kind of fade whoever's just at the bottom, kind of no matter what, and
What the line?
one of the teams that we jokingly do ride with every time we fade, and it's 1-0 on the year so far, is Mississippi Valley State.
Yeah, one of the worst teams in the country.
Which is why when you brought Prairie View, I'm like, I know all too well about Prairie View A&M, but I mean that's kind of the deal at this point, right? I mean, early in the year you do get the feel out process still, right? Because I mean,
There's too much.
There's
It's
no
too much.
telling. Yeah, I
Too
mean,
much to say. Oh yeah, the Seattle's got an amazing backcourt, and they have this new freshman. Like, there's just too many teams for that. So I mean, you could say, look at how certain teams who they've got coming back, but with the transfer portal, it's really hard. So I kind of like start out by looking at it from afar,
yeah,
and then hone in as the season goes. And I have found that I've always done well with college basketball through Christmas, and then it gets harder
yeah.
for whatever reason. Conference
Conference play mostly.
yeah.
Yeah. Then by that point, everybody's kind of played it off. You have that cohesion that takes place, right? I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's funny. Last year, talk about Mississippi Valley State. Well, they found themselves actually above the 300 mark at the second half of the year in terms of KenPom because they just found a groove there. I believe. I don't know if he's still the head coach of this year. What's his face that was at Georgia State for that run that they were in the tournament? There was the head coach, Hunter. Yeah. Whatever his name was, he was head coach here last year. So
I use Ken Palm for over-under sometimes just to double check. So, and sometimes you don't even need a system. You'll just look at a team's total offense versus defense, and then their opponent offensive points versus defensive points allowed. And if I see a little bit of a discrepancy with what the over-under line is,
Yeah.
I'll usually have confidence to bet
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, KenPom is a pretty good tool. It offers just, to me, it's digestible, like you said. You know, you can look at, they're just the numbers are right there. They're
And you
no
need
lies,
the tool
no
when you're
nothing.
dealing with a 330-team league.
Exactly. That's the beauty of the beast. So good luck to everybody through this college basketball season as we enter that range.
Our picks
Yeah.
are football.
Yeah, I was about to say there wasn't a ton of crazy bet news outside of I want to go back to the well quickly here for a minute. We discussed it a little bit, but Iowa and Northwestern hit the under of 30.5 once again
Yeah.
last week. 7-0. Oh no, ended up being 10-7 the final. Apologize for that,
17
so.
points. That's crazy.
Well, I'm going to circle back to Iowa in a minute, but yeah, it only gets crazier from here. And if you are a sicko like me in the sense of just watching the sport, Iowa, the fact that they're alive for the Big Ten West right now is just the most absurd nonsense of all time.
Yeah, and they were dealing with a backup quarterback, and
Yeah.
but yeah, it's amazing. The under was 30, and it wasn't even close.
Yeah, no. And at Wrigley Field, nonetheless. So, all right, let's get into picks. If we're good with that. And Jim, I'll let you have the floor. Is yours since once again you have the high ground of the week.
Yeah, I got 4 picks here. I don't know which 3 I'm going to actually use, but I got 2 college and 2 pro, so I'm going to have to decide soon here. Let's start with I like Penn State plus 4.5 versus Michigan.
Love it.
Don't always love going with the premier games of the week and everything, but this one I like. Michigan's 9-0, but this is their first game against a ranked team. Penn State has lost 1 game, and it was 20-12 at Ohio State. Michigan's got all that controversy with the sign stealing, and I believe it. They have been stealing signs, but they're not going to be stealing signs this week, I would bet, right? So,
Yeah.
Penn State home against Michigan is 4.5-point underdogs. And I don't like Penn State at all. I don't like betting Penn State, but this is a purely analytical financial decision here.
Yeah.
They don't like Penn State at all for millions of reasons. Watch Requiem for the Big East, and that'll lend some insight. But that's one of my picks. Penn State getting 4.5 from Michigan. My other pick that I'm positive that I'm definitely going with, Colts. Under 43 against the Patriots. I also like the Colts minus 1.5, but I'm going with the under of 43. It's the Germany game. Last week, it was the Chiefs and Dolphins in Germany. They combined for 35 points, so they wouldn't have even covered. So why would I think the Colts and Patriots will? There's something about going over there to Europe and everything that's just got everybody a little bit off. Not to mention New England. Last week against the Washington Commanders, who were without Chase Young and Montez Sweat, they held the Patriots to 17 points.
That's right.
I am concerned that the Colts tend to score. Matter of fact, they scored 20 more points in every single game this season. But get them over there in Germany with this terrible. It's going to be a terrible, ugly game, and it's going to go under the 43.
Not to interrupt your picks. Did you guys see what was happening in the game? Because of how low the scoreboard hangs at Frankfurt.
Oh, they're going to have a special punting rule?
So, yeah, so if it hit the scoreboard, and it happened once in the game last week, it's more or less a redo of the punt.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's happened not in Dallas, right?
I don't think.
There's another stadium that was an issue before. But, yeah, I don't know if that'll affect the over-under, but Colts-Patriots under 43 for me. And then... you know what? I want to hold off on my third pick because if one of you guys happen to pick it, then I'll pick the other one because I'm torn between 2 here.
Fair enough. Kyle,
Back.
have at it.
Yeah, so I did something interesting. I did one player prop and then just over under and stuff like that. But so I'm going to start off the week with the red hot CeeDee Lamb over 78.5 receiving yards versus the Giants. He's averaging 155 over the last 3 games. And remember that Philly defense last week? They couldn't stop him. So I think the Giants are a mess, and that hits easily. Perhaps the first half, because the Giants are that bad defensively. And then I'm going to take the Lions money line against the Chargers.
I like
Just
it.
feeling confident with the Lions.
What's the spread?
3.
Yeah,
Lions
it's
by
still
3?
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm going to do that for my second one, and my
That's
final
an easy way
one.
to pick up a win.
And my final one, I'm going to do Broncos Bills under 47.
Yeah, I like that.
Remember earlier this week on Bills Weekly, we predicted lower scoring games. I said 23-20, which would go under. And, the Broncos defense has been playing better the last 3 weeks, as we mentioned. Held Kansas City to 9 points, 19 points.
All right.
So give me that. $10 I'm going to throw on that to win 57.
How about that?
Wait, $10 for a 3-team parlay?
Yeah, for those 3 picks, yep.
Okay.
All right. Is it my turn? Since
He didn't take one of my
Kyle
picks,
didn't?
although
Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, start with college. Liberty men's 13.5 against Old Dominion.
I like it.
It's I do not like Liberty as the institution, but to quote your Penn State line, this is all about financial purposes on this one. Duke UNC. I'm taking the over 51 on it. I know Duke's got a third-string quarterback, but again, I go back to this well. UNC is a team that does not play defense a lick. And the backup for Duke has not been that bad. They've still been putting up some points, so I'm going to go with that. And then my other one is I'm kind of following you, Kyle, but I'm doing Detroit minus the 3. I'm laying
I
the
can't.
3.
I've done -3
doing
before,
it.
and I get screwed by late field goals.
Right.
So I don't trust it.
Right.
So yeah, that's why I just want money line.
Road favorites are tough.
Yeah.
If anything, I would tease it to 2.5. I don't like
It
3
did
points.
open at 2.5.
Yeah.
I do have one sprinkle before a full toss back to you, and I mentioned at least one of the teams earlier, but we are officially down to Rutgers and Iowa being under 28, not 20.5, but under 28. And I'm gonna do a sprinkle action on that. Not obviously a true pick, but until proven otherwise, specifically, especially on the Iowa front, until this thing gets to like 20, I hammer the under.
I like
at
it.
this
When it
point.
gets that low, I just get so worried, All it takes is one pick six and your plan is foiled.
Yeah,
But it probably will go under. It's amazing.
it's nuts.
Okay, so neither of you guys touched these 2 games I was considering. So
Uh-oh.
I'm going to tell you the one that I really want to take them both just to make a point, but I'll stick with. Oh man, I'll stick with college. My college pick,
Okay.
which is Oklahoma State -2 at UCF.
Oh, I love that pick.
I mean, OSU's won 5 straight games and covered in all 5 of them. Now, UCF is fighting for bowl eligibility, so that would let you think that, they really want this game. But no, they're fighting for bowl eligibility because they're not that good. OSU beat Oklahoma last week. Could set up for an emotional letdown this week, but I don't see it. They're riding high. They're a better football team, and I'm shocked that on the road, Oklahoma State's only given up 2 to the Black Knights of UCF.
And the Big 12 rule I brought up last week comes into play there as well.
UCF's going to the Big 12?
Yeah, they're in the Big 12.
Oh, I didn't
This
even
is
know
their
that.
first year.
Oh, well, yeah. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? So anyways, the pick that I didn't go with that I really wanted to because I really do feel good about it, but it's just kind of off the wall, is the Giants plus 16.5 at the Cowboys.
Oh, that's not off the wall.
16.5.
I like that.
They lost by 40, though, the first time, 40-0.
Yeah, this is going to be like a 30-10 game.
And Dallas tends to blow people out, but I'll tell you what, in the NFL, the Giants, as much of a laughingstock as they've been, and how embarrassing they were last week, and how embarrassing they were way back in week 1 when the Dallas beat them 40-0, right? And that was with Daniel Jones. Tommy DeVito starting this week. But there is something about the NFL. These Giants players are professionals. They've been going to practice every week, and they are not going to – I don't believe they're going to go and roll over in Dallas. I almost want to take the under, too, because, the Giants probably aren't going to be able to put up too many points, but I do think that it's going to be an ugly game. They're going to stay in it. Keep in mind, this Giants team, without Daniel Jones, almost beat the Bills.
Yeah.
And that was a 14-10 game. So the Giants have been blown out at times, but I do think that 16.5 is a lot of points to give.
Just
in an
jumped to
NFL
17
game.
as you're speaking.
Jeez, I'll keep waiting. I'll wait till right before kickoff. It'll probably be 19.
And the over-under just went to 38.5, and then Giants money line went to plus 800.
Whew.
It was plus 700.
I don't know about money line. I don't know if the Giants pull off the win, but
It's so crazy that it
sprinkle money
literally
line
just
play?
refreshed while you were talking.
well, if people are tuning in, they started putting money on the Giants.
Sprinkle money line play, anybody? A little sprinkle action?
Yeah, I don't know. So, anyways, I do feel better about Oklahoma State, but that Giants line is just too stupid, and I can just see it. Seen it before with like the Denver Broncos winning outright against Kansas City, and again, this is a divisional game.
Yeah. I have another trivia time if you guys want it. I'll leave it up to you.
Sure.
What was the original mascot nickname team for UCF? Not the Black Knights.
Central Florida. How long ago was this?
60s and 70s.
Oh, geez. I don't know.
We're out on this.
Well, no, it's. I say that because if I go the other hint, it will give it away. Think about a major U.S. endeavor that has been predominantly based in Florida since its iteration in the 1950s.
Disney?
No. It's on the east coast of Florida on the Atlantic.
Daytona?
No. Think space.
Oh, NASA. The astronauts?
The Citronauts.
The Citronauts. That's a better name than Black Knights.
Yeah. How about that?
So they combine the state fruit with the NASA.
Yep. I guess UCF, not to go too far into the weeds any more than I already am today. I guess they have some big, I don't know if it's like exact aero engineering, aeronautical type thing, but they have a lot of play from NASA and I guess space, what's it, Space Force now? Whatever that new division of the military is. And the mascot was this little green, citrus, little alien-like mascot thing that was running around, but
Whatever their mascot is, they're going to lose by more than 2 to Oklahoma State
agree, go Pokes.
Saturday.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Picks are in. We're locked in for week 10. Hopefully, me and Kyle, we can get back into the bank, and Jim, you continue the hot streak. It's been a nice little 3-week run for you. Outside of that one really blemish, week 7 I think it was for you that was kind of rough, week 6.
One of the weeks, yeah, it's tough to sweep 3 picks.
Yeah.
You generally to win 2 out of 3, you've got to be happy, but it's I think the Colts Patriots under. I don't like to give anything a lock of the week, but man, I was shocked. I thought that it would be 38, 39 even, but a lot of it's based on what the public likes, and more people like to bet for something to happen, like scoring, than for something not to happen,
Right.
lack of scoring. But man, there's nothing better as an under better to watch a first half of football where it's like punt, team gets in the red zone and fumbles, and it's good to be an under better sometimes.
Kirk Ferentz loves it.
How about some of these matchups, though? Like tonight, we start with the
No.
1-7 Panthers and the 2-7 Bears. Like,
Yeah.
is it going to be fun because they're so bad each team,
You're
or like,
gross.
and then 9:30 in the morning Sunday, game 2 of the Week 10 slate, the 4-5 Colts and the 2-7 Patriots. What are these matchups?
Yeah, I know, terrible. How about Monday night's game?
Yeah, and then Monday night,
Jets and the Raiders, or is
Yeah.
that Sunday night?
That's Sunday night.
Yeah, Sunday night, Jets and the Raiders. Monday night,
Monday is the Bills, of course.
Broncos.
Yeah.
They're all terrible games on
I
paper.
guess the only positive is we get 6 1 o'clock games and then 4 late games
Yep.
instead of 3 late games. I like 4, at least 4.
Eagles are on a bye this week.
Chiefs are on a bye.
Chiefs, yeah. It is that Bears game tonight. I like the Bears. It's funny because these are teams that you might think might be tanking to get draft picks, but the Bears get the Carolina pick. So by beating Carolina, they're actually helping their draft position. And Carolina's just not been good all year. The Bears have been good on and off at times.
Yeah.
So, and they're home.
The legend of Bajent rides again tonight too, the way it sounds.
Yeah,
So,
I like the Bears tonight. With the what's the over under in that game, Kyle? It's like 44, 40,
question.
Tonight, 38.
38. Okay, yeah, I probably won't touch that.
Is it being played at Wrigley Field? I know it's not. I'm just being
I guess the
hopeful.
only other matchup that I'm kind of interested in from the 1 o'clock slate on Sunday is the Niners going to Jacksonville to take on the Jags. Maybe that could
Yeah.
be interesting.
Well, I went through all the NFL games, and initially I just look for things that jump out at you, and that's a tough one because San Francisco had that tough loss to Cincinnati at home. Jacksonville's playing good. Coming off a bye for the 49ers, go all the way to Jacksonville. That is a tough one. NFC, AFC crossover, no less. It's like that's a tough one.
West to East.
It's a tough one even to predict a winner, period, let alone dealing with lines.
Yeah.
Cardinals are getting Kyler Murray back this week, and they got the Falcons at home. So that could be, I guess, somewhat interesting maybe.
Yeah, the Falcons have been hard to bet this year. They tend to do a little better than they should. And, Kyler Murray coming to Arizona, is that like, we saw what Joshua Dobbs did last week. Kyler Murray wasn't great the past couple of years in Arizona.
Expect a lot of running from him.
Yeah, and a lot of mistakes.
Yep.
More than likely.
So I didn't touch that game either. On paper, it's like bet against the Cardinals, but I don't like it.
Yeah, there's not a lot of the slate this week is weird.
Green Bay, Steelers,
I lean Pitt. I think Pitt's a 1.5 favorite.
3 points.
Is it less than that?
It's 3.
It's 3 points favorites at home against Green Bay, right?
Yep. And the over/under is 39.
Stillers.
I know. I like betting on a team with a guy like Mike Tomlin as their coach, where heading into the season everybody's like, Pittsburgh's not that good, but guess what? They're probably going to be in the playoffs. They're probably going to find themselves there. They find a way to get it done every week, and so in a game like this, you would got to have confidence in Mike Tomlin. I'd rather take Pittsburgh on the money line than give up 3. At the very least, bet it at 2.5. But yeah. I like the Steelers in that one for sure.
Yeah, I agree there. Yeah,
Texans plus 6.5 against the
What the-
Bengals.
What the?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
T.
too.
Higgins might be out. He's not practicing today. Jamar Chase is limited today. I don't know. I just think the Texans might keep it closer than we all think.
I
Give
think
me like a 30-24 game. Texans cover.
Hey, everybody's freaking out because this is fresh off of C.J. Stroud's 7,000-yard game last week.
True.
But I think what's happening here is the Texans are kind of coming back to earth. If you look at the way they won some of their games early on, they snuck them out. They have been better. They're fine, but I think this is a situation where it starts to play out. What you see is what you get, and the Bengals are hot, regardless of any injuries. They're starting to round into form as an AFC championship caliber squad, and the Texans are just kind of trying to hold on after that bad loss last week.
Yeah.
The way this season has gone, the Texans go to Cincinnati and win this game.
You're probably not wrong, man.
And think about it. I guess the Bengals are kind of due for a loss. What is it, 4 straight for them?
I know, no, you might be right the way it's been going, but I have a feeling it's all settling now. The volatility in the NFL is now starting to settle out, and things will be a little more predictable going forward. And Cincinnati's just better than the Texans now. Again, that's a lot of points in an NFL game, but I had a tough time this week. Tough time.
Yeah, that's. Yeah. I came close to doing 3 college games again this week as opposed to
You don't like
2 plus
Commanders
1.
plus 6.5 against Seattle?
my Mandos. No, no.
Kind of like the under in that game.
Yeah, probably.
44?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I think I go do that back to back. Come on.
it's funny though without their. They
Yeah, the
traded
Chase.
away half of their defensive line.
Yeah, the Chase Young thing is interesting. I guess there was some stuff behind the scenes that wasn't known that's now kind of come out. I guess him and the coaches butted heads quite often, and
That'll happen with a losing franchise.
well, I don't
Sorry.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree, but it sounds like it was more a potential Chase issue and not team issue in that sense. The one that makes me more upset is Montez Sweat. I think you want to talk about a guy who is incredibly underrated throughout the league is him. He's a monster, and hopefully the Bears. I know they ponied up for that contract. They already gave him extension, 4 years, $90 million, and it's a lot like I kind of think the way. I mean, people knew about Khalil Mack already before he got to Chicago, but I think he's going to be a lot like Khalil Mack for the Bears.
Well, I'll tell you one thing about Washington. I think the name change really rocked that franchise. It gives them the expansion team feel, and they've been playing like it
Yeah.
since they become the Commanders.
They've been playing like an expansion team since 2000. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I could kind of care less. I was honestly hoping they'd stick with football team, but I don't know. I think we're now down a completely different rabbit hole. Now I'm wishing for the days of Jason Campbell for whatever reason under center. So,
Anybody looking at futures bets lately in either the NHL or the NBA?
yeah, NBA, I kind of have looked not deep on there. The main issue I have with the NBA right now is a lot of the action that books want you to do. And this is kind of the double-edged sword with a lot of the stuff that they do, say with boosts or offers or something like that we talk about, is they're trying to funnel everybody into that mid-season tournament future stuff right now. And I just don't want any part of it. I think, don't get me wrong, I think the way that it's structured, right, you're going to still have the best teams end up there. But I don't think, if you're Milwaukee or Boston or like Miami, Golden State, Denver, Phoenix, are you still taking this thing all like that seriously when the main prize is still,
Nobody's taking anything
May and
seriously in the
June?
NBA. They're getting paid and they're showing up and playing half-ass
Right.
until the playoffs. It's the worst league ever. But I was looking at potentially a Minnesota Timberwolves future bet.
Yeah. Whoa. Really?
You need to you need to get with the long shot so you have room to hedge it if they get deep into the play. And I think that they're better. I mean, as a guy who does not like the NBA, I think that they are kind of being overlooked.
For example, in the NHL, the Rangers, I'm looking right now, plus 1,100 to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, and
Rangers are not that bad of a team. They're definitely going to make the playoffs. I don't know if
And once you make the playoffs, it's literally is a 1 in 16 chance. 16 teams in the playoffs in the NHL.
Yep.
It's literally a 1 in 16 chance. I mean, I don't. You look at the Bruins last year. Everybody was handing them the cup, and they lost in the first round. Was it?
Yeah.
I mean, NHL and who was in the finals? A couple of teams.
Florida Panthers.
Panthers and
a
Vegas.
wild card team.
So
The second wild card team.
there is value to put even $10 on
Yeah,
the
$10
Rangers.
on the
right
Rangers
now.
gets you 120.
Yeah, and then if you get into, you could put 100 on the Rangers, and then you get into the Stanley Cup playoffs, and you're like, okay, once the Rangers get to the quarterfinals, you can then start to like maybe hedge. But definitely, if they get to the semifinals, you need to figure out a way to make sure that you take a profit off of that initial wager. So that's why if you have a futures bet on a team that's like plus 500 or 600, there's just not room to do that. So I look for future bets for these teams that are just overlooked, and there's so many of them in the NHL. I'm not saying that the Rangers are going to win, but they have just as much of a chance as any other team that's got better odds than them right now, honestly.
The Buffalo Sabres are plus 7,000.
Now that's a bad bet because there's a team that has not seen anything close to the Stanley Cup Finals, and
Yeah, I'd probably take the Rangers or the Carolina Hurricanes, who are at plus 800.
yeah, didn't the Hurricanes get to the semis last year too?
Yeah, they've always made the last few years been making the playoffs every year, falling short. So maybe this is the year. But stay away from the Toronto Maple Leafs. They are plus 1,100, but we know how that goes.
Where are the Oilers hanging at right now?
Oh well, they're terrible this year, so they're 1,800, plus 1,800.
I put futures bet at some point last season on Toronto Maple Leafs, and they let me down.
Yep.
Early.
Yeah, the best odds, of course, is Vegas plus 700, and then the Bruins 750. So,
That's
I
the
don't know.
beauty of it. Yeah. I just, yeah.
What do you got, Paul? Anything?
I got nothing right now. I mean, we're in an interesting spot. I do know this. I've already seen odds for the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series champion out and about. So, and
need to get into that.
World Series champion for 2024. So, yeah,
Baseball's another one.
Funny as
You
stuff.
can find a team. I mean, imagine if you put a futures bet on the Orioles. Now, of course, they lost in the playoffs. But there's a lot of value in the Major League Baseball futures market. But it's just finding the right team. Obviously, it's not easy to do.
Yeah.
But every year, there's a long shot that makes a run. I mean, what was a future bet if paid on the Texas Rangers this year? It had to be
That's a
like
question.
plus 3,000 at least.
Or the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to say the Diamondbacks would have
Parlay them for a
while.
World Series final, and you'd be on a beach somewhere in, the Bahamas
the
for the rest
private
of your
island
life.
bet.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's worth looking at. And
sure.
Then putting that in your back pocket and seeing what happens. But rarely would I take a bet like that and run it right through the World Series championship or the NHL championship. At some point, you would hedge that.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Detroit Lions to win the Super Bowl plus 1,100.
Okay. I mean, to be fair, there have been a lot crazier answers
reasonable.
at this point with that. Yeah. We laugh, and that's only because we're used to them being
They
just.
go to Arrowhead, knock off the Chiefs.
They still have Thanksgiving, though. You never know what will happen on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that'll pretty much do it for today, right, boys?
Yeah, good luck, everybody.
Good luck. Hopefully everybody is at the pay window at the end of the week and in the green, and we'll catch up with everybody again next Thursday. Have a great weekend, everybody.